Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Ayleen, and this is Medicine Walk. And for those of you who are listening in on Blog Talk Radio, this is Healing House Radio. I hope you're having an amazing month. And as we kind of come screaming into the end of 2018, a year that's been kind of tough for a lot of us. And, for some definitely more than others. And if it's been a rough one, my prayers and thoughts are with you. And also, we get to look forward to a whole new year, which is 2019. And I've got a lot of things that I'm kind of working out and figuring out how I want to do. And I would love to get your input on the types of things that I'm going to be looking at with regards to the YouTube channel. If you have suggestions about cameras, if you have suggestions about sound systems, if you have suggestions about, well, really anything, my background or whatever. I'd love to hear them. And if you have any, constructive things that you think that I could change or improve, please put them in the comments. I do read the comments. And I love being able to interact, and I love watching the community grow. And so this is about, where the next step of the channel is going to go. And I definitely want you guys involved in that process. So, what I wanted to talk about this week was an amazing opportunity that I had and an amazing experience that I had. I was in a play, and it was like a children's Christmas play. And so I was playing one of the adult roles. We were doing The Grinch That Stole Christmas, or an adaptation of it. And it's more based on like the Jim Carrey movie. So I was playing a character called Martha May Whovier, who apparently, Grinch was sort of a girlfriend, or she was sort of Grinch's girlfriend. But, it was children, totally G rated and everything, So, what I was doing was, I had to be this flamboyant and, fabulous and bubbly and bling ridden, and that's not me. That's not how I normally am. And I was kind of nervous about it. I was wearing a red dress, and it was, I mean, most of the time I'm in like sweatshirts or t-shirts and jeans or yoga pants or a skirt, hat. Bling is not something I normally do. And I was kind of nervous as to how I was coming off. I mean, I am a big girl. So I was amazed to work with these young people, elementary school up through like young junior high. And they were so cool. And they told me that I really looked nice, and they were really supportive. And the thing is that in getting to spend time with them and getting to spend time with these young people, I was able to really have a good time and experience kind of being a part of that world again. I mean, I was a preschool teacher a very, very, very long time ago. And so I mostly spend my time with adults. I don't spend time with that many young people. And after this experience, I'm definitely changing that, because I was just amazed and delighted by all of them. They're bright, they're inquisitive. They would just break out into dance, and they taught me a dance, something called the floss. And but in teaching it to me, there was that amazing support. I felt safe being silly. I felt safe, kind of letting my kid out around these young people. And sitting with them and talking to them, and really experiencing that maturity level. And I just want to double check. Okay, we are still. I, I went through a whole tape, and I taped a whole thing, and it turned out the camera had gone off, and so it was like, what, what, it's gone. So it's like, okay, so this is version 2. And as I believe, if something doesn't turn out the way you want the first time, obviously there was a better way for you to do it. So anyway, um, these young people were just amazing, and it was just so cool being with them, and during the process of rehearsals and things like that, having a chance to sit down and talk to them and listen to some of the things they say. And there was this absolutely lovely young lady named Jaden, and the person who normally did our makeup wasn't there one of the days. And I don't do makeup. I mean, really, I'm just, it wasn't something that I ever wore consistently. So quite honestly, and I was a little embarrassed to admit that I really didn't know how to apply it, and I don't wear it often enough to make a point of it. And I should. And in fact, that's one of the things that I'm going to work on, is learning how to do that, because that fascinates me. So Jaden, uh, she offered to do my makeup, and you know, I said sure. And I mean, she was like a professional about it. It's like, okay, close your eyes, open your eyes, look this way, look that way, and she's kind of gauging and making sure both sides are even. And, she said that she learned it watching YouTube videos, and that she had watched videos on how to apply makeup. And she did a phenomenal job. I mean, it was just, I mean, I had these big, unbelievable, sparkly fake eyelashes. It felt like I was looking through a hairy, sparkly tunnel all the time. But, she put them on, she got the glue just right, she got them positioned right, and it was just so cool watching her do that. So the next day, even though the regular makeup person was there, I asked her to do my makeup. And it was just so cool, watching her take the role of someone taking care of me. And, and they were silly, they were, you know, running around and had that energy level. And when the teachers and when the directors were saying, it's like, okay, guys, we need to bring it in, we need to calm down, they were able to do that. And in watching them interact with each other, somebody might get into a thing, a little bit of a thing, but either they're laughing 5 minutes after that, or somebody else comes in, one of the other kids comes in and it's like, hey, come on. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And it struck me watching these really delightful young people that maybe the secret isn't that we need to act more like adults. Maybe the secret is sometimes we need to act more like kids. Because I was thinking about it, when young kids, they generally will agree to sharing. They do not go into huge judgment places with people, with other kids. I saw, like, this one tremendously adorable young lady who was playing the younger version of me, and I believe her name was Madison. And she, um, you know, before our first performance, she wanted to get up and she wanted to say a prayer. And so she was thanking God for this experience and for being able to do this. And she said she was thankful that she was surrounded by friends. And that was just so beautiful to me. It was so genuine, and she was sitting there next to me, and we kind of bonded as the older version and the younger version of the same character. And before the first performance, she was sitting there. She said, "I feel so alive," and the joy that was in her over that. And it was just like, wow. I realized I felt alive too. And I was having some TMJ problems, and anybody who has dealt with, like, that pain in the jaw that just nags. So, I wasn't always feeling really great. But as soon as I got there, and as soon as I started hanging out with the kids, and, and as soon as we started getting into our characters, it was like the pain went away. And I was just having so much fun with them. And because I play video games, and they're like, oh wow, you play video games. Have you ever played Fortnite? And it's like, well, no, I'm not that good at it. Immediately, anytime I said something that was like self-deprecating, well, I'm not really good at that or whatever, it's like, no, 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 you could do this, you could do this. And it was safe for me to be able to, it's like, well, maybe I could. Maybe I could learn this. And they're giving me tips. But it was just so wonderful. And while I watched these young people, I decided, you know what? I believe that we're going to be fine. That this country, that this world is going to be okay. Well, now I know it. I mean, I felt it, I believed it, but knowing that the world is going to be in the hands of this generation, it was just amazing. It was, I just felt so positive that these are the future leaders of the world. Maybe one of these kids in the room with me right now is going to be president one day. That they were going to be the ones to take this world and make sure it's okay for the next generation. And my phone is acting up. Stop it. Hold on. Sorry. I have to turn that down. All right. So anyway, it is just so cool to be around young people. And I hadn't done it. Most of my interaction is with adults. And the fact that, I was able to, hang around with, these wonderful young people. And also, kudos and absolute props to their parents. Because these kids were guided to be able to have, that freedom and that inquisitiveness and the, the confidence that I saw. I mean, at her age, I don't know if I would have been as brave as Jaden was to say, hey, can I do your makeup to an adult? And the fact that, she was able to do that, it's like, wow, that is cool. And it's, it really is. It really is a testament to, the folks that are the ones who raised these kids. Because, hey, they're doing an awesome job. These young people are going to be amazing. And they are amazing. And so, there were a couple of the boys were like in the back doing some sort of a rap thing. And I mean, I don't know if it was one that they'd heard or if they were just making it up. But, just watching them be so comfortable just to do that and to be in their own skins. And, these kids, they were just being themselves and having a chance to talk to them. And, there were some points when, they were kind of asking advice. They were letting me know about, some things that it's like, wow, this is kind of on my mind. And, hearing kind of the way that they process and their thought process and how they are, working things out. And I realized that, well, the world that they're in is a lot different from the world I grew up in. When I went to school, I didn't have to worry about the idea that someone was going to, maybe come in and do something really bad or start shooting. That's a reality in their world, and yet they are still kids. They are still enthusiastic. They're still, creative. And I really admire that. I admire every single one of these young people that were a part of this. And through them, it's given me a whole new motivation to want to do more work with them and talk to them and learn from them. Because really, like I said, I think the trick to us getting back on track as a country, as a world, is that maybe we stop acting like adults and we start acting like kids. A sixth grader, knows, or almost a 6-year-old knows to stop and look both ways before they cross the street. And I'll see grown-ups just walk right out. So, and yes, as grown-ups, we do have that pressure. We do have that, okay, we got to worry about paying bills. We got to do all this stuff. But I think there's a balance that can be found. And I think that the place where we start is going back and learning from the young people, learning how they deal with things, to interact with them, to share what it is that we have, and then let them share what they have with us. Because somewhere in there is something amazing. And it's easy to do. You can interact, if you have a church and they have a youth group, volunteer to work with the youth group. You can volunteer at schools to become a mentor, because there's somebody out there who, for those of you who are adults, there's somebody out there who really needs what you know, and that it can help and motivate and inspire them. And I found that I was more inspired by these young people than they possibly could ever know. And I hope that at some point one of them sees this video, because I really want to thank you all, because you gave me a very, very important gift, a very special gift. And you reminded me about all the best parts about being young, and not to get so bogged down in what I'm doing that I forget that inquisitive, curious, that, just breaking out and dancing, they would just break out and dancing, or they'd create a game, or they'd start up a game just to amuse themselves, just to, have fun. And I hadn't realized how much of that spontaneity was missing from my life until I spent time, working with masters of spontaneity. And I was really very impressed. I'm impressed by who they are. I'm impressed by who they're going to become. And honestly, I think probably there are way more kids that are like them than unlike them. It's just that when we get to be grown-ups, we don't notice it as much. We don't notice their wisdom. We don't notice their insight. Teenagers who are politically savvy, they want to know what's going on in the world. And, to ask a young person an opinion and really listen to it, it's amazing how insightful they can be. So I recommend, and I encourage, and I suggest that everybody, I was old enough to be the parents of some and the grandparents of others. But it's amazing. And it's very cool to be able to cross the generations and find that bridge, because when we can find that bridge, then the best of both worlds comes together. We are each more for what we can give to each other, what we can teach each other, and what we can share together, and what we can enjoy together, and how we can celebrate together. The generation gap isn't that big. And, wouldn't hurt to learn how to play a video game. Or find something else. Be willing to have a young person teach you a dance. And just go out and interact. There is a whole resource out there of imagination and energy and innovation that we can tap into as the older generation. So go out there and get to know a young person. Hang out with them. Learn their dances. And appreciate the fact that these are our future leaders. They're the ones inheriting the world. And from where I'm looking, and from what I see, the world is in very good hands. So, thank you for joining me. And like I said, I would love to see suggestions about what you'd like to see. I used to live stream, and now I've gone to pre-recording videos. which is a little bit easier for me, and if something comes up that I have to take care of, it allows me to make sure that I at least have a video out there. I will be in the comments section with, during the first broadcast, so please feel free to comment then. If you want to, leave any other comments, you can do so. You can reach me through Twitter. You can reach me through my Facebook group, Medicine Walk with Dr. Ayleen. And you can also, for those of you who are on Blog Talk Radio, you can leave comments there, or you can come over to YouTube and actually see this episode being made. So if this worked for you, if this was in any way like this video, you can share it. You can subscribe, because it always is great to see the community grow. And you can also comment and let me know what you think. And really, go out and find a young person to talk to, because they are amazing. And if you would like to support this channel in a bigger way, then you can always go to the Patreon link that's in the description and become a sponsor. So, thank you for joining me. And, as always, I wish you balance, and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. Love you. Bye.